For the past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of working with Councilmember Craig Rice and the Montgomery County Human Trafficking Task Force, which has laid the foundation for important council legislation and other improvements within the county government and law enforcement around human trafficking issues. In addition to our Body Works legislation, which everyone knows we passed last year, I was proud to sponsor with Councilmember Rice Council Bill 3915, which established new civil and criminal penalties for sex buyers in the county, creating a new financial deterrent for sex buyers, and leading our police and state's attorney's office to work together criminally prosecuting sex buyers for the first time. I'm thrilled that the state's attorney has begun prosecuting sex buyers and has agreed to move forward with establishing a John School here later this year. Done right, this will be a successful criminal diversion program that will raise valuable funds for victim services and hopefully significantly reduce the demand for commercial sex over time. We all know that, unfortunately, sex and labor trafficking are happening everywhere and involve people from all walks of life, certainly including Montgomery County. We are not going to stop this global criminal enterprise alone, but we're committed to send a strong signal to traffickers that they're not welcome in Montgomery County, that this is a hostile environment for them, that we're united, we will fight back, and they will be prosecuted. I'm pleased with the steps forward we've taken over the last 2 years. We have lots more to do, particularly in the areas of emergency and transitional housing for survivors. We look forward to working with everyone here on collaborative and effective solutions for these kind of continuing challenges. But we are stopping today to recognize our progress. So it's my pleasure to present these proclamations commemorating the National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month to Kathy Knight of the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office, Jody Finkelstein of the Human Trafficking Task Force, and Assistant Chief Russ Hamill of our police department. So, Mr. Rice.
So let me just say very quickly that I want to highlight the fact of what you see behind us. It's reminiscent of this past Saturday, where strong women in our community and a few men are standing up for values, things that we hold near and dear, which is making sure that we recognize that every person is valued in our community and deserves the rights to be able to live out their dreams unfettered and not be taken advantage of, to not be, and that's one of the things that I think folks oftentimes forget about what human trafficking really is. Human trafficking is really using people to a person's own benefit. It's not just about sex trafficking. It's about folks that are living in communities that are working and their passports are being held and they're not getting fair wages. It represents so many of our people who are silenced in our community. And I just want to give a shout out because I was talking to Councilmember Hucker. Our police are doing a phenomenal job. I actually had an opportunity to do a ride along with one of the crews that deals with a lot of our human trafficking issues. And we actually had an issue where we rescued a young woman that very night. I got to see some of the things we're doing right and some of the things where we still have a lot of work to be done. But it's only happening because these women and some men are standing up for those people who oftentimes are voiceless. And I just really want to say thank you to each and every one of you for your dedication in making sure that every person in Montgomery County and around the world is valued.
Whereas human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery that is a serious criminal problem in Montgomery County, where traffickers use violence, threats, deception, and other manipulative tactics to force and coerce women and men to engage in commercial sex acts or to provide labor or services against their will. And
whereas in 2016, Montgomery County Police investigated 29 cases of human trafficking in Montgomery County, 3 involving the trafficking of a minor, and whereas Montgomery County Council passed Bills 915, requiring county licensing of bodywork establishments, and 39-15, providing law enforcement a new mechanism in combating sex trafficking by authorizing police to issue additional civil or criminal citations to sex buyers, and
Whereas in 2016, the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office took critical steps forward in prosecuting sex buyers and are working towards establishing a John School in Montgomery County, a criminal diversion program to decrease the demand for commercial sex and increase funding for victim services. And whereas January is National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, formally recognizing that human trafficking is consistently taking place in the United States and the need for greater focus on prevention strategies, prosecution, partnerships, and victim services.
So now, therefore, be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland hereby proclaims the month of January as National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and be it further resolved that the Montgomery County Council commends the Montgomery County State's Attorney's Office, Montgomery County Police Vice Unit, and members of the Montgomery County Human Trafficking Task Force for their efforts in increasing our awareness and developing strategies to combat human trafficking, and encourages all residents to be actively engaged in reporting suspected trafficking activity to police. Together, we can help eradicate human trafficking from our community. And it's presented this 24th day of January, signed by our Council President, Roger Berliner.
Fair Girls is a DC headquartered nonprofit that services all victims of human trafficking in the ages of 11 to 26. We were established in 2004, and we have served over 1,000 victims of human trafficking. In 2013, we started the Vita Home, which is a 90-day safe house for victims of human trafficking. It is the only safe home in the area serving this population of 17 to 26-year-old victims. Fair Girls offers counseling, job placement, therapy, educational assistance, and court advocacy. 90% of the girls we see are American citizens, and 50%, currently, 50% of the girls we are seeing are coming from Maryland, have either been trafficked in or come from the state of Maryland, including Montgomery County. I'd like to briefly share with you, because I've been asked to share an example of a Montgomery County survivor that we encountered in providing services. I'm going to call her Macy to protect her identity. She was 17, and she was lured by a seasoned older trafficker. She was then threatened, beaten, and forced into sex trafficking. She was trafficked across state lines and sold on Backpage.com. Eventually, Macy was arrested in Montgomery County for solicitation and prostitution. She was too scared to ask the police at the time of her arrest for help, but eventually agreed to cooperate in exchange for her freedom. She was first sent to a shelter in Maryland and eventually came to Fair Girls shortly thereafter. She stayed at the Fair Girls Vita Home for 8 months, much longer than the 90 days, because there were no housing options for her in Maryland or otherwise in DC. Over the course of 8 months, she attended support groups, she found a job, and she tried to stay safe from her trafficker, a feat that was no small feat given that even while from jail, he still threatened her. This is a success story by most accounts, but there are clear lessons to be learned here. Montgomery County, like all jurisdictions across the country, needs to continue its training and education and partnership with our law enforcement partners. We need local Montgomery housing specifically made for survivors of human trafficking, as Councilman Hucker acknowledged. And we need more support for local direct services within Montgomery County. We have also launched at Fair Girls a new initiative, a policy initiative, focused on policy and lawmaking, which our partnership with the council will come in handy, where we're going to be putting forth a legislative agenda that focuses on the needs that we're seeing in our client populations. We are so excited and honored to be part of the Montgomery County Human Trafficking Task Force. We are so excited to be here today, and we look forward to working with everyone to combat human trafficking going forward. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jody Finkelstein. I am the Executive Director of the Montgomery County Commission for Women and also coordinate the Montgomery County Human Trafficking Task Force. Our chair, Bobby Mintz, unfortunately is unable to be here, but she asked me to say that it has been an absolute honor and pleasure for her to be the chair of the task force, and she would like to thank not only the wonderful county council, but also County Executive Ike Leggett for all working together to ensure that victims of trafficking continue to be survivors, and that we can also work to reduce and prevent trafficking, not only in Montgomery County, but in the state of Maryland.
My name is Lorna Ford, and I am the president of the Montgomery County Commission for Women. And all of these individuals behind me, they do all of the work that's necessary for us to make a difference in heightening the awareness of human trafficking in Montgomery County and developing solutions and preventions and responses for what we see happening in our county. Several years ago, we were interested in trying to make a difference in Montgomery County as it pertained to the issues of human trafficking, and we expressed a desire to do something different. And what we expressed, it just took hold, and here we have the Human Trafficking Task Force, and it's just been a wonderful opportunity to collaborate with all of the partners. I mean, this is a true testament to the success of collective collaboration and effective collaboration. So we look forward to continuing our collective collaborations and partnerships with organizations in the county so that we can continue to be the voice for women and girls. Thank you.